Hello dears, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Oluchi. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how you can create boning channels for your corset eyelet lacing bar. Okay, now there's a way you will create your boning channels, and by the time you are lacing, you will notice that your eyelet begins to tear your fabric. But with this method I'm going to be teaching you, you don't have to worry about that, because your eyelet is just going to stick to where it is supposed to be. It's not going to move, it's not going to tear your fabric while you are lacing. Now, if this sounds like something that you're going to be interested in, then you have to keep watching. So first of all, you're going to be getting a fabric, like a plain fabric or any fabric of your choice, and you're going to be measuring 4 inches in width. 4 inches in width. Now, when you measure 4 inches in width, then the length, of course, is going to be the length of your center back, where you're going to add the boning, right? That's going to be the length. Then first, put it into 2 places and iron it, and then iron in another half, just like you see me doing, as if I'm creating my waistband. Okay, after you've done that, then you're going to bring your fabric. Of course, you would have finished sewing this before you can think of putting this. Now bring your bone. Make sure that you go and iron your bone. The size of bone you're going to be using is 1/2 inch size of sewable bone. Yes, 1/2 inch size. It's going to be 1/2 inch in size sewable bone. Now bring your fabric on the right side of your fabric, not the wrong side, the right side of your fabric. You're going to be placing your bone on the very edge of your center back. Okay, so you place your boning on the very edge of your center back, and you will sew. If you're conversant with bones, you should know where you're going to sew. That very end where you have like a smooth line, then you're going to sew that point all the way until down. Remember that you're placing this first bone on the very edge, like the very edge of your center back, like your corset center back. Now once you've done that, now you can see we've sewn this. Next, you're going to still put back in the sewing machine and sew the other side of the same bone. Okay, sew that down on your clothes. You can see what I'm doing. So I've sewed the 2 edges of the bone. This is the first bone. All right, next we are still going to bring the we're going to place another bone, and now this one is going to be right beside the first bone. Please don't space it. While you're doing it, don't space it and don't put it on top of each other. Let it just be by the side. Okay, right beside it. So you're going to go ahead and sew that all the way until the end. Just like what you did on the first bone, you will come back and then sew the other side of this second bone. Okay, sew the other side of this second bone. This is very easy, it's not difficult at all. Now, following the same process again, you are going to bring your 3rd bone. I know why I'm not cutting these parts out. I just want you to see everything that I'm doing, okay? So that nobody is confused in this class. Now bring your 3rd bone and place it right beside the 2nd bone. Yes. Like I said, do not place it on top of it and do not space it. Just place it by the side, okay? And then you sew. Of course, if you're, like I said before, if you're conversant with sewable bone, you already will know where you're supposed to sew and where you should not sew. So just sew on that part, usually on the 2 edges of the bone, right? So you will sew that part. Then again, you will still, what you've been doing on the other one, still come back and sew the other side. I purposely didn't want to cut this out. If not, I would have done the first one and cut it out, but no, I don't want to do that. Okay. Now once you're done doing that, you see what it looks like. We have 3 bones here. Remember I said you're using the 1/2 inch size of sewable bone. Now this is what it looks like. I noticed that as I was filming, the brown one, like the mesh was not really so clear, so I had to redo this one and add it to it. You can see we have 3 bones. Okay, we've sewn it onto it, and this is what it looks like. All right, can you see? 1 to 3 bones. Okay, now next you're going to bring that fabric that we cut out, the 4 inches width fabric, do you get, and then you place it on the very last part of the bone. Now you at this point now you will have to flip this bone, sorry, you have to flip your fabric to the wrong side. Okay, so flip it to the wrong side like I've done, and then you will place this 4 inches, like 4 inches width straight fabric that you've cut. You place it on the third bone, the last bone, like the bone that is coming inward. Okay, when you place it there, carefully sew. Don't worry, I'm going to show you guys. I'll use the white one to show this very well so that you will see it very well. This was the reason I had to take out some parts of this mesh one, like this transparent corset, because I later noticed that my camera was not coming very close, so it might be difficult for you people to understand what I was doing. So I had to, that was why I paused this video. Like I left it, I didn't post it since until I made this white one, and then I merged it to it. Please don't get confused, we're still doing the same thing. Okay, just difference in fabric is the same thing. Okay, so can you see what it looks like? Now I'm flipping it over to the right side. All right, now I'm going to use the white one now to illustrate this better. Okay, can you see? I'm flipping it to the other side, and I'm going to sew that down. Now we're going to, let me use this to illustrate what I meant. Okay, now this is what it looks like. I've sewn it down. Can you see? I'm going to, let me just turn it so that you will see that very well. I've sewn it down. All right. Can you see where I sewed? Where I have sewn it? Can you see where I sewed it? See? You can see at the very edge of the third one. That's where I sewed this is it the 4 inches width plain fabric that we cut out. So that's where I sew it. So you can see what it looks like. Then afterwards, what I did was, now can you see? So I flipped it that way, and then I turned it to the right side of our outfit. I hope this is clearer now. The other one, the camera was not very close. I discovered that after I was done filming, when I was trying to edit it. So I had to just merge it with this one. So now you will go back to your sewing machine to secure this onto this plain part by sewing the ends of these bones. So you will sew the first one, you will sew the second bone, and then you will sew on the third bone. You can see the way my hands are going. That's where you're going to sew. And then you sew on the third bone. For this one, you do not need to sew on each of the sides of the bone. No, just pick out one side. The first side, second, and then the third one. Can you see we've secured it to this? Can you see? It's now secured, very firm. They are now together. Then you're going to flip this over again to cover up the bone. Can you see? So flip that over to cover up the bone, and then you will go ahead and sew this at the very edge of it. While you're sewing this, please make sure that this is covering up your bone very well. Let it cover it up, so that the bones, you don't want to finish sewing this and then your bone is showing. No, we don't want that. So go ahead and just sew the part you see me pointing. Now you can see I have gone ahead to sew this, and this is what it looks like. It's looking all clean. Now turn this to the back side, can you see, and sew on those lines again from the back side, so that you can create the front lines for your bone. Okay, can you see? Once you've sewn it, so you now have 3 lines, 1, 2, 3. So the center one is where you're going to add your eyelets, and the other 2 you are now going to add a plastic bone into it. Yes, the other two you will add a plastic bone. Now the plastic bone you're going to be adding is going to be 0.25 in width. You can see, I'm trying to show you, I hope you're seeing that clearly. 0.25 in width. This, you're adding a plastic bone this time. Remember, we stitched this with a sewable bone. Now we're adding a plastic bone to the two ends. But don't add on the center, because remember, on the center you're adding your eyelet. Okay, you're adding your eyelet on the center, so do not add on your center. Just add on the two, two edges of the line. I don't know if I'm making sense at all, but I just hope that you guys understand this. I think this should be easy. So you can see, I'm purposely leaving all of these parts, so I will cut this out and I'll push it in. Please make sure that you're leaving half of an inch on each of the ends, because you know that this plastic bone, you can't sew on it. When you're going to finish off the down part and the up part of this, you don't want to sew on this because it will not even allow you sew on it. So you're going to leave out half inch on each of the ends. Maybe I'm going to do another tutorial to show you how you can finish off the two ends. Can you see I added bone to this, I added bone to the other one, but the center I did not add the plastic bone. Okay, I didn't add the bone to the center one. Can you see what that looks like? It's now strong, it's stronger this way. First of all, when you're lacing, it's not going to bend. Again, you don't have the problem of your fabric tearing, because the sewable bone on the center is going to secure it, and the sewable bone, the other bones on the two sides will secure it also. Can you see what that looks like? It's very secure at this point. All you need to do is to go ahead and add your eyelets on the center of this. Create your holes and add your eyelet, and that's it. And this will be so secure because you have bones protecting it on each side and also on the center, and your fabric is not going to rip when you are lacing. Thank you so much guys for watching my video. I really appreciate. Please do not forget to give me a thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button so that YouTube is going to notify you every time that I post a new video. If you've been a subscriber, I appreciate you so much for always coming back to my channel. And if you're joining us for the first time, thank you. You are welcome, and I hope to see more of you. All right guys, bye. See you again in my next one.